just like to welcome everybody to the September 11th, 2025 meeting of the Decatur Architectural Review Board. I'm going to call a roll quickly with each commission member answering present. Paige Bridges.
Present.
Barbara Kelly.
Present.
Jacob Woods.
Present.
And I am Patrick Rasco, the board vice chair. We have a quorum present. Dr. Swoop is the city's preservation specialist. Thank you to everybody who is attending today. Your involvement in the commission's proceeding is vital to the effectiveness of the process. And there's a copy of the agenda out front if you didn't get one. The historic district designation means that your neighborhoods have been recognized by the United States government, the state of Alabama, and the city of Decatur as being architecturally or historically significant to the community. Historic districts are not created to prevent changes, but rather to ensure that the proposed changes are appropriate to the individual property and the districts as a whole. And so the board's responsibility is to review the appropriateness of all the proposed changes. Each historic resource within the district is assessed on its own individual merits, and what's appropriate for one property may not be appropriate for another based on the resource age, location, neighboring properties, and stylistic details. The Architectural Review Board's rulings are based on written standards and regulations that guide our review and decision making. These guidelines and the Commission's decisions have the force of city ordinance. You can access our guidelines along with the application forms on the city's website. Our hearing process is as follows. The staff will present the applications. When they read your name and property address, be prepared to come up to the podium. Staff will present the application and staff assessment of each request. When the staff's finished presenting the application item, the applicant or your designated representative will then state their name and address and providing additional information or comments regarding that application item. The board may ask clarifying questions of the applicants at the time. Next, we'll hear any public comments on that particular application item only. After the public comment has closed, the chair will entertain a motion and the board will discuss and dispense with that application item. Staff will then proceed to the next application item and so on. An approved certificate of appropriateness will be issued in the form of an email that CCs both the applicant and the building department approximately 1 week after the hearing. The document will outline and reaffirm what was approved and the project that has been approved. A COA must be issued before a building permit can be obtained. If any changes to your project are anticipated after the COA is issued, it is the responsibility of the homeowner to contact staff, Dr. Swope, and she will help you. In some cases, you may be required to submit the changes for review and issuance of a new COA. If your project is denied and you're not issued a COA, you'll be issued a letter stating the reasons for denial and additional information. Denied COAs will be sent via certified mail to the property owner's address, filed in the Morgan County Revenue Commissioner's office. You may resubmit an application with revised plans at a future meeting. There's an appeal process for a denied COA as well, which is spelled out in the municipal ordinance under sections 18-25 and 18-92. After all applications are heard, the commission will entertain general comments from the public, limited to 3 minutes per individual. So I think we're ready to call the meeting in only minutes.
Minutes, I've got one correction in there. In the discussion, there's a partial paragraph in the requirement that you remove and misspelled your apologies. Other than those two corrections, anything else?
I didn't have anything else. I make a motion to approve the minutes from June 12th, 2025.
I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. minutes approved. And now we move on to the expedited COAs.
So we've had a lot since the July meeting. 647 Grant Street, new garage roof, 623 Johnston, replacement porch post, the non-original 1950s, 60s porch post on there. 634 Jackson Street, replacing county front porch steps and walkway. 521 Walnut, soft-sided pool, which there was debate about if that even needed a COA, but we went ahead and approved it because it's not a permanent. It's just like one of those soft-sided pools in the backyard. 445 Sherman Street, new roof, 703 Ferry, non-original side patio with removal, 703 Ferry, replacing it with brick. 804 Jackson, a new side and rear yard fences and landscaping. 644 Johnston, landscaping changes. 445 Sherman, a new roof and chimney removal. 104 Vine, new roof and rear chimney removal. 634 Johnston, temporary wheelchair ramp. 417 Sherman, new roof. 417 Sherman, new gutters. 316 Lafayette, new wood board and window sill replacement in kind. And 214 Canal, which was a tree removal.
Okay. And so our next business item is election of a new chair.
Yes. So Ellis Chanel passed last month. He was chair. So we need to have a new chair. Elections are generally in January, so whoever is elected now is just for the next 3 months if we have meetings for those 3 months. So we need to determine who the chair will be for the next 3 months.
I make a motion for the vice chair to move up to chair.
I second that.
Patrick, are you comfortable doing that? Okay. We've got a motion, we've got a second. Do we have a vote? Or is there any more discussion?
I don't have any discussion.
She was like, I'm not volunteering this. Patrick now. All right. Do we have a vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? You're in. All right. Thank you. Patrick. We need a vice chair to handle it for the next 3 months too. So who wants to be vice chair if Patrick is?
I think I'd like to nominate Jack Woods, his extensive experience.
I'll accept it.
Okay, so we got Patrick nominating, Jacob accepted, and a second.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
You're so enthusiastic.
Move for myself.
All right, well, thank you. Okay, and apologies, somehow it's right on the slides on the agenda, it's off. It should have been 804 Jackson on the agenda, and it's like 814 showing down there. I looked at it last month. But it's Michael Rogers, it's 804 Jackson. It's an accessory building, so here's the lot. And this is one that earlier in the month, there was an approved fencing and landscaping. So the front of the house is not even on the slide, it continues off down, you can see behind me, off the page. So this is, you're looking at sort of the start of the side yard right here. So all of this greenscaping and hardscaping is going into the side yard. He's moving at record speed every time I go by there. But so what he's looking at right now is adding, it's kind of green, it's a greenhouse, but it's not like a greenhouse for plants. It's more like just a garden structure. Like placed in there.
Plants and
Do you grow plants in there? Okay. Those are really fancy greenhouses. The greenhouse is really nice. So it's in the back. So you've seen the plants. 3 of the sides look like this. The 4th side that faces the neighbor doesn't have comparable doors because it's pushed really close to that property line. So this gives you the heights on it. So it's this small auxiliary building. It's at the rear of the garden. It's predominantly glazed because he's using my doors and steel. So these are windows that he's having made. The roof is paneled. It's a 5B The original packet, what Michael sent me, showed this sort of corrugated metal. I talked to Michael, he said that you can get it in a non-striated with hidden fasteners on it, which are the two things our design review guidelines talk about. For the design review standards, the number 18, pool fountains, gazebos, pergolas, garden structures, should be constructed of water brick and complement the associated primary building. Gazebo and pergola structures should not obscure views or damage historic features of the associated primary building, and locate them out of or with limited public view in rear and side yards. And this is pushed, I mean, it's almost as far back as it can go on the lot. So the location of the building and its use as a garden acre appears to be within the design review guideline requirements. The commission has approved greenhouses and accent buildings to the rear of houses before. And at the time I wrote this, I couldn't find anything for the metal roof. But Michael, since in our discussions afterwards was written, he was able to locate the flat, not school, sorry. Architectural shingles are also sometimes approved for these. So that is all that I had on the design review standards and staff report. Michael, you want to come up to the podium if they've got any questions on it, other than like when the garden party is? And we'll read from that.
You guys have any questions?
I think looking at the location, I think visibility is important. And I think where it's located, even though you're on a corner lot, you have an existing structure on the corner and a long distance from the front of the house. I think of the vegetation and everything. I think visibility is minimal on that side. For the metal roof, I don't have an issue with that. I know somewhere, couldn't find it right off, I think somewhere in the new construction outbuildings, it kind of talks about the ability to use that. And since you got the flat panel, we'll go with that as well. So those are kind of my thoughts on it.
What's the pitch on that roof?
If my ciphering is right, it's 11, 12.
Yeah.
What's the pitch on the house?
On my house, somebody's 11, 12.
I don't think it's quite that tall.
It's a decent pitch, but I don't know what it is.
So your overall height is 16, roughly.
I move to accept the COA as presented.
I'm sorry.
I move to accept the COA as presented.
I'll second it. All in favor? Aye.
Thank you. I'll get it.
Thank you very much. Okay.
To you tomorrow.
Appreciate it.
All right, thanks, Michael. All right, for COA number 2, this is 824 Gordon Drive. This is Mr. Minor. It's for roofing in the Albany district. So this is the location on Gordon. It's very close to the corner of 10th. This is a house as it currently appears, and this roof in here, the 100 green, is what is being requested. The house is located in the Albany District. Tax assessor records list construction date is 47. It's a minimal traditional house in its style. The action requested is a new roof. Staff typically approves new roofing requests, but because this request is for a unique color, the staff has not seen approved in the district before, I wanted to bring it in front of the full board because I thought it was beyond my parameters to approve. That is the colors the roofing company offers. For design review standards, 13.0 roofs, 13.14 application of composition shingles to replace deteriorated composition shingles is appropriate. When current design review guidelines do not address specific application, the commission refers back to the Secretary of Interior standards for rehabilitation. that should be consistently followed by the commission. Standard 3 states that all building structures and sites shall be recognized as products of their own time. Alterations that have no historical basis, which seek to create earlier appearance, shall be discouraged. So the existing roof on the house is pretty similar to the gap timberline slate, which is kind of this green gray. The applicant has requested kind of green, which is this really sort of bright green. Staff, at the time I wrote the report, I could not locate any indicator. This minimal traditional style that come out in the 40s and 50s typically use black, dark gray, dark brown because they're going for very traditional style. I was able to reach, after I sent this report out, Bill Stone, who his family owned stone lumber for 3 decades. And I asked him, I was like, do you remember selling green roofs within the district? He told me that his family's home, which is now Christy Beat's house, so corner of Somerville and Jackson, was built the same decade as this house, and that it had that bright green roof on it. So we do have a house within the district built at the same time period that had that brighter green roof. And then Barbara Kelly reached out to me, and I forwarded you all her information, that this house had been in her husband's family since the time of its construction up until about 2019 or so. And that the original roof was one of those sort of asbestos roofs that we have. We have a handful left in the district. And at some point, clearly that was replaced, and they put composition shingles that are on there now. And that the original roof was that asbestos gray, that sort of that thick, it almost looks like slate, a little bit on there. So those are the 2 pieces of data that I got to help make your decision after this was already sent out. If you have additional questions about the roof, I will let Mr. Miner come up to the podium.
Is there a reason you chose the bright green?
Well, yeah, when we moved in like 10 years ago, the thing we liked about the house was it had a green roof. So we were looking through standard colors, and we were trying to pick out something similar to it that would kind of freshen it up a little bit and be within the standards and be a regular color. So yeah, there was 2. There was Hunter Green and there was another green, but I think they were about the same, 2 different manufacturers. And we like the green, and we wanted to stick with it. It does have a real shade of green, and kind of a cottagey feel. We got green shutters there and some other green accents around here and there. And of course, all the bushes are green. So. And we got, it's a pretty old roof, and we got several leaks right now. I got buckets up in the attic trying to catch it, but we hadn't been able to settle in on, what we were going to do and select a contractor and all that kind of stuff. But we got all that in place, and we thought that, yeah, okay, you submit this piece of paper, and it's pretty much a done deal, just replacing the roof, but the color became a problem. So I told the roofer, go ahead and order these things. And so, we got them, the suppliers ready to deliver as soon as, we give them the go. It's expensive stuff.
I think as I looked into it, I was going back and doing a little research on the time frame. I think during the 40s, there were green, red, black. I think those kind of dark gray, those were kind of the common colors.
Yeah, there's agreement on Sherman. Oh, excuse me, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Sorry.
That's okay.
There's a green roof on Sherman right now. And I mean, it's a green. It's not like, got some dark shades in it or anything. And I do have 2 other buildings on the property, and they have green roofs.
I know that they did have them in that time period. And, I did go by your house and look at it.
All right, thank you.
The color that's on there right now is the slate. I've actually picked a lot of roof colors in the job that I do.
Yeah.
And it does have a green undertone.
Yeah, it does.
It's not bright green, but it does have some green in the fleck on that shingle. I guess there's two things I'm looking at. One is it is appropriate for that time period on houses. Is one. Two, also look at what we call the individual characteristics of the property. So we have each property, we kind of look at it individually, and we also look at it as a district as a whole. So we kind of evaluating what's in the district and what's good for this particular house. And based on the history, it's never had a hunter green roof. It has had some grays and it sounds like dark gray color, maybe a bit in a brown undertone, possibly. So it's kind of a hard choice there. I've got something that's appropriate for this building and something that might be appropriate for that time period. For me, I would have to lean more towards the individual property rather than the district or not the district, but the time period. So not being able to find many roofs in our district of that color, I don't even know if there's any in that particular color. I
No,
haven't
we
seen any
couldn't.
myself.
Yeah.
I would have to say that the one below it, actually the slate color, or the one on the very bottom would be more appropriate for the house, which would give you that green undertone but not overpower it.
Yeah, well, the snafu is that we've already purchased the shingles because we thought it was kind of a done deal to get a roof replaced. And it was already green, so we wanted to stay with green. All right.
Along with what you're talking about, even though there were greens in that time period, they wouldn't have been an architectural shaded out shingle like this.
I don't know. Not exactly.
No.
It'd be more, probably a tab, like a 3 tab.
Right. And it would be a different look than what that is going to give. I agree with you that the bottom two are more appropriate for the district. Do you know, is there an option to exchange the shingles at the?
They were a special order, so I don't think so.
Is that something that could be checked on?
Yeah, I did check on it with my roofer. He said he's already purchased the shingles.
Sometimes they just have a restocking fee, like a certain percentage.
Is there like a restocking fee that they can do or something, all that in?
I don't know. I don't know about restocking fee or anything like that. But if we change, it's going to cost me a lot more money.
Jacob, you work in the industry. Is there a standard for how these are handled if it's special order for shingles, or are you aware?
I don't know. I do more of the selection, not the actual purchasing. So that would be on the contractor or the roofer.
So I think the green is just so vibrant is probably what's giving us all pause. It is so bright that it does not really align with the architectural authenticity, and that's really what we're here to do, is to preserve that.
Okay.
So that's where my personal struggle is.
Yeah. Well, this color was used in the early 20th century, as Carolyn said. So we're not going outside any standards that have already been approved in the past, I reckon.
That is true. That was like the comment I was saying of the time period. So there's things that were put in, let's say, a historic district in New Orleans that we won't put here because it doesn't fit.
No, right. I'm talking about in Albany, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, when we can't find anything in the district that's even close to it, it's hard for us to approve something to now go in there. I feel like it's going to kind kind of
Well, I would
hurt.
say Sherman's got a real bright green 3-tab on that street.
So we do assess each property individually, right? It's not based on what's also in the community. Um,
Any thoughts?
Well, of course, I'm emotionally involved with the house, so I can't really speak to it very much. I mean, I prefer it to be gray or the slate, because I think the other's gonna be shocking, but I'm not, I've never seen anything like that. So,
Ready for that? Motion on this one?
Yeah. Any further discussion?
I make a motion to approve the green shingles. As presented.
I'll second it. All those in favor? All those opposed?
No.
No. She's no.
Y'all already know?
What I might suggest is checking out with the roofer and see if he can work something out with you on one of these other colors.
Is that the GAF color board right there?
Yes, that's the one.
So, you're saying this is again?
That's the slate, correct?
I think it's the slate, yeah.
Yeah, slate's the one that I looked at before that had a little green undertone in it, but it was mainly gray. And that looks like what he's got on there.
Who's the manufacturer of this?
It's, I can't off it, you actually. Yeah.
All right, so what do I do?
I would recommend talking with the company and then getting back with Dr. Swoop. And do we want to add to it that she can approve based on the color that comes back?
If it comes back with the slate choice.
What are the options that we make sure he's got, like charcoal slate, weathered wood, those are the three most common ones. The slate, which is the gray green, or the weathered wood, which is sort of that standard wood tone. So those are the three that I heard.
Oh.
The slate looks like it's the most comparable to what's currently on there with the green and black.
Okay. See what I can do. Is that it?
On the phone, is you,
Okay. All right, thanks, Kevin.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think
Compliance updates. 301 Oak, Dover New Defense. It is on the market right now. And in the real estate ad, it does state very clearly that it's within the historic district and that the guidelines need to be followed. 812 Johnston, this one received a court summons. If you recall, there were two things. One was replacing that metal roof with an asphalt shingle. The other was some sort of screening to screen the outbuilding. They did replace the roof. We had an email back and forth where I resent the letter that mentioned the screening with landscaping. I have not been by to see if that part has occurred yet. And I do not know, I sent out a question to legal about when the court date is. I don't know. It's probably several months out. They typically are. 606 Moulton, this is one that code compliance has in their files as well. The owner does not live in Decatur, which is making it more challenging for them to bring it into the system. They had a plan, they worked with a contractor, it was one of the best COA submittals I've ever had, it covered everything, it was good to go, I signed off on it, but the owner has not been forwarded to the contractor, so the contractor's in a holding pattern waiting to hear back from the older owner, and I think code enforcement is working to be in touch with that owner, so.
Are there signs still out there?
The sign's still there, because we had a COA that I submitted and approved, it's just the contractor said the owner has not responded to them, so they're just sort of in a holding pattern on that one right now. I do know that they own the gas station in front, and that has been subleased. You may have noticed that there's new gas pumps that have gone in there, so clearly, I don't know if they were waiting to get that property up and running first, and then they're gonna turn their attention to this one. I don't know, but it's clear they're doing something, because they had two properties that were both flagged, and one of them is now starting to move along. So, I will, as soon as I know more, I will share it.
Do you know if they're aware that the side vent is off?
They're very aware. It's been that way for several months.
Okay.
Yes. And the last one is 641 Moulton. We had some correspondence back and forth. I've still not gotten a response. This is one where they were just painting, which we don't typically review because it was just repainting. But it's one where I went by. They had multiple tubes of caulk and foam being sprayed in between all of the mortar joints, which is going to cause deterioration of mortar issues. And so we issued stuff for order. They also pulled some structural items off the porch that were holding it up. And I conferred with the building department and code enforcement on that property as well. So that one is still within the system, and I don't have any significant updates on that one. So we've got complete fixed, and one is halfway fixed, and then two are still in the process.
I think that the carport moved.
Did it finally move? Okay.
And there's a fence up.
Okay. Well, those were approved.
I saw
I haven't
those.
back to see it.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the one on Lafayette that had the carport that popped up overnight, and we were working with them.
With the blue roof.
Yes. Yes. So that
She
one.
moves to the backyard.
Yeah, they moved it to the backyard and put the fence up. I drove by the other day and saw it.
It's on the
You can't see it from the
corner.
road at all.
Good.
Lafayette and Ferry, one house in on the Lafayette side. So that one has some motion and they're back in compliance. Tomorrow's the day that I walk to the district to check out. I walked most of Old Decatur, but not that street today, just to check, and everything else was looking good. I need to do all I need tomorrow.
Good report.
Huh?
You felt good about what you saw?
Yeah, so far everything was looking good. Nothing unexpected occurring. So,
That one's right across the street from the house that's in the new sun porch. You know, by the tree.
Yes.
yeah.
Which I don't think they've started that yet.
They redid the chimney and they redid the roof, but they've not started the sun porch yet. That's the house that the sun porch was hit by the tree about 2 years after the house across the street was bisected by a tree. So that poor corner.
It's
is-
tree stable.
Yeah, that corner has had a lot of activity lately. And that is it on my report. Any questions? No?
Just a lot of road work going on.
There's a lot of work, so the 6th Avenue plan, they started on that, they're starting at Delano and moving up. And that is one, if you recall, they are removing the turn lanes, they are narrowing down 6th Avenue by expanding the sidewalks a little bit. So the sidewalks will be new, a lot of the power will go underground, it will eventually go all the way to the bridge, so Delano Park to the bridge. And I don't recall which, I know Jackson is one that you will no longer be able to turn left on if you were leaving downtown. And I think there might be one other, but I don't recall.
Sherman.
No, they had it every other street, so Jackson and Sherman. So you will be able to turn left on Sherman and left on Grant, but not left on Jackson once it's started.
Is Gordon going to be one way west, right?
No, they had talked about making Gordon and Prospect one way,
Yeah.
each one would be a different way. But they brought, the discussion was, the fire department comes into the discussion, the police comes into the discussion, the school district does, and I forget who wanted who, but one of them said, well, we can only go this way, not the other one, and the other one said, well, we can only go this way, and because they were at an impasse, it was not like, okay, we need to leave them both two ways, because there's no way to make this work when you have life and safety issues with, it's, you know, getting to the hospital across town from the factories that are over on the river and dealing with ambulances and police, and they were like, no, it's, we gotta keep them both two ways. So that was the last time I saw the construction documents, that was what I saw, and then they had the concrete sidewalks, but they had brick edge on them, so the edge closest to the street was gonna be brick. So that's the set that I saw when it went out for bid.
Will the turn lanes have landscaping in them?
So originally the plan was yes, but it is on a state highway, and that means AlDOT has to approve everything. And on the state highway, AlDOT didn't want, you know, the original was going to be trees, and AlDOT was like, no,
I thought they were
we're not putting
trees.
trees in the state highway.
Okay.
So then there was discussion of narrow planters, but some low growing plant, because they can't put irrigation in them.
Mhm.
So that is a concern. So the last I saw, they were still doing some sort of low landscaping, but how successful it will be long term, we're waiting to see.
Yeah.
But the last set of plans I saw called for some sort of low growing something. But again, I don't,
Okay.
there was a lot of internal discussion about what you don't have irrigation, how is that going to survive
Yeah.
unless you put in cactus, so.
I talked with Volkert. They say that the landscaping won't start until Lee Street as far as plants. That's just what they told me. And that we're going to get a concrete median. So that may or may not be true, but that's what they told me.
Not as attractive as the trees they started with.
I think that was one where they were very excited ideas at the beginning, but the people that were managing it didn't have the background and understand where this was going to go, since ultimately it was a state highway.
All the requirements, yeah. Same thing we get here sometimes. People don't know the
Yeah.
rules. Okay.
I think there's some trees all the way down the median in about 31 parcel area. Cut them all down.
Oh, wow.
I thought they did a long time ago.
AlDOT is very aggressive with how they handle, because they're looking at very narrow scopes that they're compliant with. I keep meaning to ask if they have any state roads that go into Mobile, because I'd be very curious how that looks for their trees. All right, any other questions, discussion points? All right, any motion to adjourn?
I have a motion to adjourn.
Second?
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.